Hey, what's up, everybody? I am the Wrestling Rundown Champion, and I'm here to give you guys my review for GFW Anthology Part 2. I know I did Part 1 way back last summer, but I pretty much remember enough of it, of what happened, and now I'm here to give you guys my review of Part 2. Um, and this was taped on July 25th, 2015, and it aired on September 15th, 2017. Um, which kind of makes this really hard to enjoy in a way because this was filmed 2 years. This had a 2 year delay when it came to airing it. So a lot of the guys that you saw really aren't even in the company anymore, and obviously we know that GFW as a company of itself really didn't end up being anything. These were the TV shows or the TV tapings that they tried to tape, but they never aired. So they just aired them all. I don't want to say now, but they aired them all in the fall. So it just was very weird to kind of watch this. And I'm gonna do the up down method, and I'm gonna try to grade the show as its own show and try not to think about that. One of the downs is gonna be, I'll just say it right now, is the fact that they kind of went that in that direction, because I noticed in this in part two, and they kind of referenced the fact that the guys that wrestled on this show are signed to WWE or signed somewhere else, and they tried to make it seem like this was taking place currently. Like for example, when Robert, Bobby Roode, Totally Awesome, Mark Roode came out, they mentioned he was um the NXT champion, even though he wasn't at this time, but they had probably taped the commentary over this before that, and how he would sign in WWE but wanted to come back to GFW to become the global world heavyweight champion. Same thing with Eric Young, except obviously he was the leader of Sanity and signed to WWE. But they did the same thing with Brian Myers talking about how he went back to WWE and is now known as Kurt Hawkins. Chris Mordensky talking about how he was in GFW as Chris Adonis. So it was just very strange. And I kind of wish they would have just kept the commentary they had. Because we know the thing's taped, but it's just was very strange because they um, obviously had had the commentary go over the show, which was very weird. But whatever. That is a down. I don't know why they did that. I don't know if people got upset that they did it the first time because it was really tough for them to suspend the disbelief. But whatever. All right, but we had the commentary team of Chow Sonnen and Cyrus Fees. I probably messed up those names, but you'll have to let me know. Um, and we had the first match on the show. It was a vacant GFW Tag Team first round match. Sorry, hold on. Let me just say that again. We had a vacant GFW Tag Team Championship first round match. And we had Reno Scum, which consisted of Adam Thornstowe and Luster the Legend versus Los Luchas, Phoenix Star, and Zakori. Overall, I thought this was a pretty decent tag team match. Um, yeah, it was decent. Reno Scum destroyed Los Luchas throughout this matchup, and then eventually Los Luchas started to make a comeback. Um, eventually, Phoenix Star hit a suicide dive on everybody, taking him out, and eventually the finish came when Adam Thornstowe hit a power bomb onto Zakora into Phoenix Star, and they ended up getting the pinfall that way. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good match. I'll give it a 3.25 star. And obviously, they ended up advancing into the tournament. And now they're gonna be Actually, I can't really reveal who they're gonna be facing yet because that ties into the show. I don't even know. This is the first time I've seen any of these two teams wrestle each other. So yeah. That's just that. Um, Overall, I liked both these teams from what I saw, though. I liked Reno Scum and I liked Los Luchas. I thought they were both a pretty good team. I do want to talk about the commentary team. I talked about how it was kind of annoying throughout this show because I don't want to say they weren't really wrestling fans, but you could kind of feel by just watching the show that they were more of a casual fan because they only really referenced the old stuff. And I don't really know why they were brought in to do commentary for this show. It was very strange. And then we had a video package for Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. And I also noticed they kind of tried to call them by their current names that they had now. Like they kept calling him Luke Gallows, even though we know he was Doc Gallows when this had been taped. And at the time, they were both the IWGP Tag Team Champions. And they pretty much introduced themselves to talk about how they were in Bullet Club and how it was taking over uh, the wrestling scene at the time, which it was, and they talk about how they just do whatever they want. They're gonna come in here and win. They become the first ever GFW Tag Team Champions. Um, so this was good. Gets an up, but it's just very strange. Carl Anderson too looks very different. I thought looked different from this match than he did today. And then Jeff Jarrett comes out to cut a promo and he thanks everybody, the fans, the wrestlers, and stuff, for putting the show together. And then Bob Roode comes out, and it was very weird to see Bob Roode since he's in WWE today. And he came out to like his TNA theme song, and they tried to make it seem like that he was like the outside invader coming in and wanted to take that GFW championship. Now, the logical I did like this storyline, but I will admit that one of the logicals was this: why would Jeff Jarrett let him compete in this tournament if he could just take the championship and leave with it? So that was really weird. Um, but whatever. Bob Roode talked about how this company is a waste of time to him, and he thought it was ridiculous that he had to qualify to get into a tournament match after you know my credentials. And he talks about how he's the greatest wrestler on the planet. And then Jeff Jarrett says that in the vacant GFW Global World Heavyweight Championship match, he's going to be facing Eric Young, to which Bob Roode wasn't very happy about. So I actually like this segment gets an up. And then we had a build up for Brian Myers and Chris Mordensky. They kind of gave a history for them. Brian Myers talked about how he really hasn't had an opportunity this big, and Chris Mordensky was kind of cocky going into the match, so it was stuff like that. And then Reno Scum was backstage, and they were happy about their victory. And then Bullet Club, Babe, Amber Gallows kind of meets up with them. It was an okay segment, getting up. And then we had Robert Bob. Well, we have Bob Roode backstage, and he's upset that he has to wrestle Eric Young. This was okay. Gets a thumbs in the middle. Then it showed a vignette for everything going on with GFW. That was pretty good. Gets a thumbs in the middle. Then we had a vacant global championship first round tournament match. Brian Myers versus Chris Mordensky. I thought this match was decent. 2.25 stars. Chris Mordensky methodically picks apart Brian Myers. Brian Myers starts to make his comeback. He hits a pretty cool flapjack, and then he ends up hitting a crappy spear on Chris Mordensky, but he ends up rolling outside the ring, and then he puts him in the ring, and then Chris Mordensky kicks the rope right into his nuts, and it gets him into the Mordensky lock for the win. So Chris Mordensky advances in the tournament. He's now going to wrestle Nick Aldis in the semifinals, so I thought this was a pretty okay match. We'll get him up. Then it showed another video package for GFW Amped, and then we had a vacant GFW Tag Team Championship first round tournament match. CeeLo, Mysterioso, versus Tease and Sleaze. Tease and Sleaze consist of Joey Ryan and Kenny Climax, best known as Kenny Kin from ROH and TNA. And Joey Ryan didn't do the dick spot in this match. I don't remember if he had done that spot. When this was filmed at the time, because I know that he didn't. I don't think he started doing that until like 2016. So I'm happy he didn't do that. But overall, I thought this was a solid tag team match. I'll give this probably. I thought this was actually a good match. I'll give it 3 stars. Tease and Sleaze dominate Mysterioso Jr. for a while, and then eventually CeeLo or whoever his name is makes the hot tag, and eventually Kenny Climax hits the wall of flush on him for the win. And yeah, this was a good match. Gets it up. And then we had a video package for Shelton Benjamin talking about what his wrestling background, and you really much should know what Shelton Benjamin's background is if you've watched wrestling for this long. So I'm not really gonna go through that. And then we had a memorial for Rowdy Roddy Piper. because around this time when this was filmed, he had just passed away, which is kind of strange. And this is the one they did have to admit that was taped in advance, because I think they fans would have thought this was strange. Jeff Jarrett and came out and talked about what he meant to him, and then he was in some sort of movie. He was had filmed it and everything, and he talked about it. So, like, the director came out and kind of gave a Roddy Piper story. It was supposed to be like this Christian movie, and he ended up swearing on set, which was funny. So I liked it. I'll give this an up. Then we had a video package for TJP talking about his upbringing, and we've seen it all in the Cruiserweight Classic, talking about how he was homeless and how he wanted to pursue this dream, and he talked about his match with Andrew Everett and stuff. So I like this. Gets an up. J.O. Kratos talks about gives a video package, talks about his upbringing. I thought this was good. Gets an up. Then we had J.L. Kratos versus Shelton Benjamin in another vacant global championship first round tournament match. Shelton Benjamin pretty much started this match on fire. Then he goes for the pay dirt on the outside, but Kratos moves out of the way, and then Benjamin ends up hitting the post head first. And JL Kratos then hits a lot of pump knees in this match and really dominates Shelton Benjamin. And then Shelton Benjamin hits a springboard superplex and then hits the pay dirt for the win. And then pretty much throughout the whole show, they showed a backstage segment later on where Shelton Benjamin acted like he had some sort of concussion. So it's questionable whether or not he'll be competed in the tournament. But I like this match, gets an up, and I like the storyline they told with Shelton Benjamin. And then Doc Gallows made a video talking about how he's going to go to GFW. This was good. I thought it was pretty funny. Gets an up. Then they talked about Andrew Everett's video package. I thought that was pretty good. And then we had a vacant Next Gen Championship first round tournament match. Andrew Everett versus TJP. I think he might have been TJ Perkins in this match, but they kept calling him TJP. This match I thought was really good. I don't know which one I actually like more. If it was this match or Gallows and Anderson versus the Killer Elite Squad. I think I might have liked the tag team match a little bit more, but this match I thought was really good. They both hit chain wrestling moves on each other. Everett hit a stand-in shoot-it stop press right outside the ring on the TJP. TJP hit a snap nail into a drop kick, and he ended up targeting the arm of Andrew Everett, hitting a crossface chicken win, and then just completely broke his arm. And then Andrew Everett tried to go for his 360 senton, but then TJP moved out of the way, hit a frog splash right on the arm, and then got him in a cross arm breaker. And Andrew Everett tapped out, and TJP ended up advancing in the tournament. And which the semifinals is pretty much going to be a four-way match, which is really strange, but whatever. I like the fact that each tournament is a little bit different. So I really like that. But yeah, this is kind of when this is when Cal Sonnen started to piss me off in this matchup, because he was just acting so nerdy and kept putting down the wrestling business, and it just pissed me off. And then it showed Machine Gun Carl Anderson and the Gallows arrive into the arena. Then it showed the Kill Elite Squad arrive into the arena. And then Bob Roode comes out. And this was a good promo segment, but because we were watching this all straight through, it pretty much was just kind of reiterating everything that had been going on. And he pretty much talks about how he doesn't want to face Eric Young. He talks about him and Eric Young's history together, and talks about how Eric Young's gone off the deep end and he should be locked up in a straitjacket. By this point, too, I should mention, I don't think these were all filmed on the same night, because Bob Roode came out in this promo segment with the Ken of the Mountain Championship, because I know he had won the championship by this point, because earlier in the show when he did this interview segment with G.F.W, he didn't have the TNA Ken of the Mountain Championship. And he talked about how he was going to take the Global World Championship and go on TNA with it, which we know didn't happen because those episodes of TNA have already aired. And then Eric Young comes out and talks about how he is a nut job, and he said that he's going to destroy Bob Roode, and then Bob Roode attacks Eric Young from behind, and Eric Young starts to fight back, and referees have to break it up, and Eric Young ends up standing tall. I thought this was a good segment. I've always enjoyed Eric Young and Bob Roode's screen time together, so I liked it. Then we had a video package then TJP gets interviewed and talked about how he's the next big thing in GFW, and Andrew Everett thanks him and congratulates him on the victory. Then we had a video package for Nick Aldis going through his history, and if you've watched TNA, you know his history. Then we had the final vacant GFW Tag Team Championships first round match. The Killer Elite Squad versus Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows with Bullet Club Babe, Amber Gallows. And this I thought was a really good match. The Killer Elite Squad and Gallows and Anderson stop brawling before the match even starts. David Hart Smith Jr. ends up bouncing Gallows' head off the steel steps. And the Killer Elite Squad were actually the heels in this matchup, which I actually was surprised about because I figured since the Bullet Club had been a heel faction around this time, Gallows and Anderson would be the heels. But no, that's not what happened, which I kind of questioned, but whatever. The Killer Elite Squad, though, pretty much get the heat for a while and Machine Gun Carl Anderson. They end up hitting a high and low on him. Then eventually Doc Gallows ends up getting the hot tag, and he ends up going off on both members of the Killer Elite Squad. He ends up hitting the Gallows pole onto Lance Hoyt, I believe his name is, or Vance Archer from WWE, and he ends up kicking out. And then eventually he was about to get the victory, but then Machine Gun David Hart Smith Jr. broke up the pinfall, and they both hit it. The Killer Elite Squad hit the Elite Power Bomb, and Carl Anderson broke that up, and then David Hart Smith Jr. and him fought on the outside. D.H. Smith went to hit the big boot on the outside onto Anderson, but Anderson moved out of the way, and he ended up hitting his head onto the post, and then Anderson hit a cutter onto Lance Hoyt, and then Gallows and Anderson hit a Magic Killer on him for the win, and they end up advancing in the tournament. So now the fields for the semifinals, the quarterfinals, has been set for the GFW Tag Team Championship tournament. It's going to be Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows versus the Bollywood Boys and the Killer Elite Squad versus... No, actually, no, sorry, I messed that up. It's also going to be Sleazy and... I just have to look. Tease and Sleaze versus Reno Scum. So I think those will be some pretty good matches right there. And then the Akbars did an interview segment talking about how they've been discriminated against. I didn't like this at all. Gets it down. And then Sanjay Dutt and Los Luchas talk about how they're going to take out PJ Black and the Akbars. And then we have the Akbars and PJ Black versus Sanjay Dutt and Los Luchas. This match was really just there. Really wasn't good. Really wasn't bad. Well, I mean, I didn't hate the match. I shouldn't say it wasn't good. But like I said, it was just there. And PJ Black ends up getting the win by hitting a double stomp on one of the Los Luchas. I don't know which one for the win. Then afterwards, he ends up taking out Sanjay Dutt with a super kick, so this was fine. And then we had bad words with Chael Sonnen. I didn't like this at all. He brings out Chris Mordensky. Chris Mordensky insults Nick Aldis. Earlier, they did a backstage segment where Chris Mordensky got in Nick Aldis' face. And Chris Mordensky makes fun of Nick Aldis, talking about how he's going to ask Mickey James to make steak for him. And this pisses off Nick Aldis. And Chael Sonnen distracts him, and he puts him in the Mordensky lock. And then afterwards, he gets into an altercation with some sort of UFC fighter. I don't know what the point of this was, but whatever. Then it showed a history for Bob Roode and Eric Young. It pretty much just kind of reiterated everything they did all throughout the show. Then we have Bullet Club Babe, Amber Gallows video package talking about everything she's done. And it's really weird because they cut out the half of the video package, so that was strange. Then we had the main event. It was Bob Roode versus Eric Young in the vacant Global Championship first round tournament match. I like this match. I think they've had better matches in TNA, but I like this match. Bob Roode ended up dominating the matchup by hitting neck breakers and hitting drop kicks from the knocking Eric Young off the apron. Eric Young tried to make a comeback, and they both kind of had a little bit of a stalemate with each other. And then eventually Bob Roode rolls up Eric Young and he ends up grabbing the ropes for the win. So now the quarterfinals for the Global World Championship tournament is going to be Bob Roode versus Shelton Benjamin, and Nick Aldis versus Chris Mordensky. To which I'm assuming Bob Roode's going to advance, and then actually this is the semifinals. Actually, Bob Roode will advance to the finals, and Nick Aldis will advance to the finals. So I'll be fine with that. Then backstage, Nick Aldis is backstage, and he goes up to Chris Mordensky, tells him to try to put the Modensky lock on him then, and he refuses to, and then that was pretty much the segment. And then that was pretty much GFW Amped Part 2. Overall, this was a decent show here. I didn't hate it. I really didn't like the way they edited this show, where, obviously they went on and you could clearly see that some of the stuff were edited really badly. So I thought that was just weird. And yeah, this show I still thought was decent. I just kind of wish they would have just not ever aired these. I get you wanted to, have people watch it, but it just seems very pointless now. I probably would have enjoyed these a hell of a lot better if, um, obviously I'd probably watched it when it, around the time that they aired instead of 2 years later, knowing the fact that GFW kind of was a failure. Um, so that's just me. Because it's just really weird to watch these now. And seeing Bob Roode wrestle on this show made me realize the guy needs to be a heel. Like, he can't be a babyface right now. So yeah. And yeah, pretty much that's really all I have to say. So that's pretty much my review. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you so if I had to rate this show, I'll probably give it a 6 out of 10. It was a decent show, which is a D. It's really just a D show. I thought it was decent. Just passing. And then pretty much that's my thoughts on this review. Make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys do the same. Make sure you guys also subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and No One the Talking 80 YouTube channels. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.